Boredom and Gravel, a story especially written for motherfucking JR. Sexuality is like everything else in life. It's fluid and it's a tool. If you don't go with the flow and keep balance, something you don't want to happen will probably come to pass. My girlfriend and I finished dinner and found ourselves on the couch, facing another night of mindless TV. Sometimes, just relaxing and going mindlessly into an alpha brainwave state was good enough for us. Yet sometimes we needed more than that. We did plenty of drugs, but even they fell flat sometimes. So we would turn to a pleasurable, free alternative: sex. Oh man, we did everything. If you can think of a position, combination, toy, or daring pursuit, we tried it. Usually twice, just to be sure. After a time, though, all the thrills were gone. Even the weirdest affair became mundane to us. Don't get me wrong, fucking was still awesome, but it wasn't super awesome like it had been before. So we began to think outside the box. Instead of just fucking outside somewhere, we made sure to do something like finding a bum on a park bench and paying him to start screaming for the cops as we were both about to come. Shit like that. This is the state we were in on this particular night. Knowing that we wanted something more, but not sure what form that would take, we talked about fitting my nutsack into her asshole, but the math just never added up. My balls had been in her pussy and her mouth in their entirety. This brought my mind to butt play. What could we fit into her or my ass? I broached the subject, and she was immediately interested and engaged. All of the obvious choices in the house were suggested and rejected. Too boring, too alive, too square, too sharp, etc. Had to be something special, yet improbable, so when we eventually told someone this story, they would refuse to believe it. Lube was on my mind, but so were socks filled with doorknobs and pillowcases full of candy. Don't ask me why. I do not know. So somehow that led my mind to think of bags of sand, like the kind you build bunkers out of and shore up the levee with. You know the ones. Just then, the ecstasy kicked in, and a wave of pleasure rolled through my body. I could tell my girlfriend was starting to fly too, so I knew we were going to do something stupid and weird. I wandered the living room, examining our possessions. I visually sorted through our bric-a-brac, searching for the perfect thing to put in an ass. Then it all came into focus as my gaze landed on a small bag of gravel. It was fine gravel, no big chunks, housed in a velvet pull-string bag. Add some lube, and you got a memorable and unique dildo. Once inserted, the gravel would shift back and forth in the bag, giving stimulus inside the anus like a live gerbil tied inside a condom. So we played rock, paper, scissors to see who would brave the bag of gravel. I won, so she would be receiving. Well, maybe she won. So we got each other going and fucked like monkeys for a while, till we knew we were ready. She put her ass in the air and I went for it. The lube-slathered bag slid past the 2 fingers I had opening her up and went gently and smoothly inside. Only the pull string protruded outside, looking like a safety tab on an inflatable raft. I wanted to yank on it, but restrained myself and just laughed instead. She asked what was so funny, but I didn't tell her. Instead, shoved my cock into her and went to work. The bag worked. We pulled off 6 orgasms for her and a back-coating skeet for me. It had been worth it. As we settled into the warm post-coitus, smoking a cigarette, we smiled and laughed about our latest conquest. Till it was time to take the bag out. It came out all right, because it came out half as full. The bag had holes in it. Can you imagine? How do you comfort someone that has a butt full of gravel? The best I managed over the 3 days she spent washing it out was to restrain my laughter when I saw her fart dust.